And there's heaps more. It's like emotional intelligence, reading the room, understanding changes in behavior with your clients.
Yep.
Both verbal and non-verbal.
Mm-hmm.
Ability to give feedback, huge. So you actually need to understand how to give feedback, how to receive it as well, which sometimes can be tough. Like we don't like it when people give you constructive feedback. So the way you deliver it is everything.
Yeah.
And we do a whole segment on how to give feedback now, because I was like, I know that's the hardest thing for the guys to actually have a conversation with someone and say, hey, like, I want to tell you where you're falling short. Mm-hmm. So and then I'm like, okay, this is the strategy. This is how you do it. And then once you know how to do that, nothing's off the table anymore.
Yeah.
Like I shared yesterday, I had a client who just wasn't living to the expectations of the goals that they have for themselves. And every time it's like, I want to be this, I want to be this, I want to be this. And I just said, look, man, if you want me to be honest with you, this is where you're falling short for those outcomes.
Yeah.
If you want to be the best, then, it's here, 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 and here. But I'm like, this is how we fix it. So this is how you can close that gap. I need you to do this, this, and that. Ever since then, nailed it.
Yeah.
Because you didn't actually just pinpoint what they're doing wrong. You layered it by reflecting on the goals that they set for themselves that you guys agreed upon. And then you also gave them constructive action on how to fix it.
And if you have people-pleasing tendencies, it's really fucking hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you got to know. Because I did it recently as well, and I hate doing it. It was just like reminder that compliment sandwich, all of that.
Yeah.
But this is what needs to happen. A week later, still on the same shit. We're getting close to a deadline.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get feedback of like, not complaints, but just things that I'm like, well, that wouldn't happen if this happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I was starting to get frustrated, and I was like, okay, this is going to go in a negative direction. So I have to do the uncomfortable thing and create tension.
Correct.
And allow that tension to just sit and know that client's going to respond.
Yeah. And you kind of almost just like choosing, you almost like picking your poison at that point.
Yeah.
Because it's like, all right, is the poison, a bit of tension with the actual end outcome, like them, lifting and being better and actually working towards the goals that they hired you for.
Yep.
So it's like, oh, the poison's a little bit of tension, but they'll respect you for it in the future. Mm-hmm. Or do you just get to a point where you're too scared to have that conversation and they're not getting the results they want?
Yeah.
And then they end up just leaving anyway because...
Yeah. Or you're so frustrated that you lash out over something or you like
that's
whatever.
It. Yeah, you just like avoid their check-in.
You stop caring.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You just like, even when they speak to you, just like, messaging them with... Yeah, that's it. Just messaging them with like negative thoughts and, and energy. It's like that's all can be avoided.
Yeah.
Yeah. By just having the conversation. And they'll respect you. I feel like if your clients don't respect you for doing your job and holding them accountable to the things that they say, they were never going to make it.
Agreed. Yeah.
Unfortunately, like that's just not a behavior that reflects someone who sets a goal and works towards it that's really uncomfortable and challenging, which is most things in fitness.
It's so powerful to be not in a position of scarcity in that moment too. Like I've done it before where I'm like, this is actually starting to not only negatively affect my relationship with the client, it's starting to spread into the team now. This is like starting to become a cultural issue.
Yeah.
Where I've had to be like, this is not what I do. If you need this, you need to go somewhere else for it.
Absolutely.
And I won't tolerate this, and this.
Yeah. It's that as well as experience.
Yeah.
A bit of like a maturity.
Yeah. And
knowing what to say.
Even knowing what you do. Like being able to say like, no, I'm actually not that coach.
Correct.
And I'm okay with it. Yeah. I charge accordingly. So if you want that, you can go get it somewhere else. And there's no hard feelings for me. That's 100% fine.
Yep. Absolutely.
But that comes from being able to be like, I can put someone on next week.
Oh, of course.
And it's not in arrogance. It's just in like...
Yeah, there's always another client,
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Absolutely.
But yeah, coming back to the burnout thing, if you don't get those things right, life sucks. As a busy PT. It's really, really hard.
Absolutely. You just have awkward and tough conversations. So I've got a couple more. Goal-orientated. No one cares about what happened on the weekend if you don't know what you're working towards the goals.
Yeah.
So make sure you understand the goal first, then ask about the weekend and catch up and be mates.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it ends up going the other way, and then we just don't know how to pull it back. Every client hires you for an outcome. Make sure you know that outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Growth and ownership. We talk about it. It's like, it may not be your fault. It's still your responsibility. You know, own up to your shit. You make a mistake, your clients will respect you for saying that, you know, that wasn't the move.
Yeah.
So you have to hold yourself to the same regard as your clients. So that's super important. And then the last one is just don't project the goals onto other people. So I'm a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
I attract bodybuilders, but I don't tell everyone to do bodybuilding. So if you don't want to do bodybuilding, that is totally fine. And I have clients that just show up and, you know, hold themselves to an exceptionally high standard and like to train towards, you know, improving their physique. But I would never say you have to do a bodybuilding show.
Yeah. It me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Because then it's all about the person. It's not about you. Like, if you do all of those things as a coach, it's like, it's all about them, you know, and that's what it should be.
Yeah.
It should never be, this is what I want.
Yeah.
You don't fall into the scenario, unfortunately.
I think one of the hardest traps is that scarcity mindset again, because I've been in this position where you're more focused on new clients than your current clients. And that leads to your outcomes with your current clients needs to be delivering something that would attract new ones.
Yeah.
I think that's a cycle that a lot of people can get themselves into.
Of course.
And that ends up really messy.
Yeah.
Because you're worried about how you look.
Yeah, I'm still really conscious of that now.
Yeah.
Especially right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got all this extra attention for, you know, 7 people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got to make sure that I'm available to everyone else regardless.
Yeah.
You know, these people are messaging me, you know, sometimes 5, 10, 15 times a day. So if you get that one message from that other person, you fucking show up for them.
Yeah.
You know, you make sure you're available and you give them everything you've got, just like the rest of them.
Yeah.
Even like the social media stuff, I'm like, sometimes I'm like, it's good to celebrate the clients. And I'm like, what about the rest of them? Like,
agreed.
You know, it's like, it's tough.
I even think of that with the podcast.
It's a juggling act. I'm like, you know, we got so many good people doing so many things. It's just like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, my powerlifting competitors aren't more important to me than the person that's lost 4 kilos.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely. Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
But I think a lot of coaches get in that trap, especially if you aspire to be a insert title coach.
Yeah.
The people that are taking you closer to that goal, you can get just like hyper fixated on that. And it's just like, the fucking.
You know, it's funny. You can solve that with that social media strategy. Just talk about your clients.
Yeah.
Talk about everyone.
Mm-hmm.
You do that.
Yeah. It's funny. I had this fucking.
Solve that problem, right?
I had this in the shower moment. I think I was doing cardio. AKA going for a walk. That I was like. You know how sometimes like it happens all the time, but like you judge something that's going on and then you're like, wait, I'm not doing that. Like you see it in something else and it's enough for you to be like, fuck, wake up, dickhead. I was getting really shitty at, I've sent the post to the group. I didn't put it on social media in the end, so I'll say it on the podcast instead because they're all our friends. The people that promote this like effort and like this is what RPE 10 really looks like. Yeah. And the last 3 reps are like 10-second rest pause. I'm like, well, is that RPE 10? Or was RPE 10 at the end of the third? Where do you
third last one?
You know what I mean? Like, where do you determine that? If that's where you want to draw the line, cool.
Yeah.
And I've just noticed that everyone that does that doesn't progress. Like it's like, okay, you're actually pushing too far into that fatigue stimulus ratio now, and you actually don't look any better. So I'm gonna keep my model where I actually just do a continuous cadence-based set, and at the end of that, I stop. But if you take that idea of I'm promoting my coaching because of this cool thing that I do, like effort or fucking whatever thing that you want to talk about, I said in my head, like, I wish we'd just go back to talking about results. I wish we'd just had an industry that was like, this is what happened.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like...
I wish we could too.
So I put out all these fucking education posts about, like, fucking this is what your program should look like. This is what... I'm like, why doesn't it say, this is what Emily did and this is her program? But just, like, in my head, that's my next campaign. I'm just like, why am I not doing that? That's fucking stupid. So it's exactly what you just said. It's just like, just go back to, cool, you want to talk about the method, the education, the whatever that you do, show it.
Yeah.
Tie it to someone that you did it that got a result rather than just, here's information.
That'll make you a good storyteller too.
Yeah. Yeah. I really need to get into that. I don't know if you looked at it, but I didn't. I paid heaps for it and never really looked into it. Because the ads, man, they just fucking got... Every single person that's listening to this podcast has got the Pip Deck ad. 100%. The storytelling fucking cue cards.
I don't actually even remember.
They fucking...
So many things.
Hounded me for like 2 years. And I have the physical cards on my bookshelf.
I need to buy whey protein, so I hope they get targeted again because I didn't get to buy it before this podcast.
So I'm going to get into that to look at the storytelling stuff. Because I think that's important, like you said, to how do I identify the client?
I agree.
And talk about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a little bit of a sidestep.
That's okay. It's pretty valuable.